Indianism in R.K. Narayan's works, compiled and presented by Venkat Polabala. This brief talk about Indianism in R.K.'s works include glimpses of R.K.'s life, his sense and style of writing, his contribution to Indian English novel, and Indianism in his works in comparison with the immediate contemporaries and his impressions on his readers. R.K. Narayan is the shortened name of Rasipuram Krishnaswamy Ayyar Narayan Swamy. R.K. Narayan was born on 10th October 1906 in Madras. His father was a headmaster. R.K. Narayan spent his early childhood with his maternal grandmother in Madras and used to spend only a few weeks each summer visiting his parents and siblings. R.K. Narayan studied for 8 years at Lutheran Mission School and the CRC High School. When his father was appointed the headmaster of the Maharaja High School in Mysore, R.K. moved back with his parents. He obtained his bachelor's degree from the University of Mysore. He was known for his works set in the fictional South Indian town of Malgudi. Graham Greene was instrumental in getting publishers for Narayan's first four books, Swami and Friends, The Bachelor of Arts, The English Teacher, and The Financial Expert. He was the Sahitya Academy Award winner in the year 1960 for his novel The Guide, which was later adapted for film. What is R.K.'s style of writing? Is Indianism in R.K.'s works a reality or a notion? The regional or local color in the writer's work is not unusual. The local characters reflect local traits and the story circumscribes human conditions and the civilization of the time period. Raju's father in The Guide runs a hut shop. Magaya in The Financial Expert worked under a banyan tree in front of a cooperative and land mortgage bank. An average reader might think that how can people or characters in the novel be different from the conditions, culture, and traditions of their place? Is the author free from the circumstances in which he lives? An average reader might think that obviously all characters should have local traits and traditions. An average thinker might believe that all characters in a novel should have the same living and eating habits. But a good reader who thinks deeper questions that is it obvious that all characters should have local traits and traditions? Is it not in the setting of the novel? Is it not in the selection of the characters or choice of the language? Even if it is true, should every author make them conspicuous? If every writer writes under the influence, what about the creativity? What about the temperament of the writer and the treatment of the subject? These questions deserve better thought and more light to judge if Indianism in R.K.'s works is a reality or a notion. On careful observation, one can understand. While the writer tells the story, the language tells another story. That is essentially the story of the author or his mindset. In fact, R.K.'s Indianism is the product of setting of the story as well as the treatment and the linguistic flavor. R.K.'s Indianism is not the result of his birth as Indian or his existence in South India. Thoughts have no boundaries. Creative genius sans frontiers. In that case, critics have considered Narayan to be the Indian Chekhov. Due to the similarities in their writings, the simplicity and the gentle beauty and humor in tragic situations. Greene also considered Narayan to be similar to Chekhov. Anthony West of the New Yorker considered Narayan's writings to be the realism variety of Nikolai Gogol. Anita Desai, another novelist, herself says, "My novels are no reflection of Indian society, politics, or character. They are my private attempt to seize upon the raw material of life." So, R.K.'s Indianism is in his attempt and approach. R.K. Narayan's style embodies his vision of life. Narayan has adopted the plain narrative using simple English. It tends to be more descriptive and less analytical. The objective style rooted in a detached spirit, providing for more authentic and realistic narration. For his short story genius, Ake can be compared with O. Henry and Flannery O'Connor. He can be compared with Guy de Maupassant, the French writer, for his ability to compress the narrative without losing the story. He has unpretentious natural style with focus on ordinary people. They are the people we see in our everyday life, like a postman, a street vendor, a teacher, and the like. The choice of his characters has given him the advantage of writing about the intricacies of Indian society, which forms the basis of the current topic Indianism in Ake's works. Ake never sailed with the wind, or he never followed the trend. Rather, he created a trend without conforming to the trends and fashions in the fiction writing, unlike his national contemporaries. He has also employed the use of nuanced dialogic prose based on the nature of his characters. He chose English for his writing, which of course led to the global acclaim. But why did he choose English instead of Tamil? Narayan said to Graham Greene in a BBC interview, "I was never aware that I was using a different foreign language when I wrote in English, because it came to me very easily. I can't explain how English is a very adaptable language, but it's so transparent that it can take the tint of any country." Narayan has remarkable command over English and used it as a medium of storytelling in a simple, natural, and lucid manner without imitating the Western authors, and the conversations of his characters never read like translation, while at the same time they are free from English colloquialisms. He brought out unambiguously the thoughts and acts of personalities from India, particularly the typical life of Malgudi. Malgudi is beacon that shows the distance between the East and the West. There is a vast difference between Narayan and Rajarao in beliefs. Narayan believed that English is the language of our intellectual makeup, but Rajarao believed that English is an alien language. One has to convey the various shades and omissions of a certain thought that looks maltreated in an alien language. So he introduced a new dialect in Kantapura. Rao has tried to give English the native Kannada speech sounds. In fact, Kantapura is the triumph of a new dialect. Narayan manages his characters naturally. In fact, they would speak if English were their language. Narayan's English is free from the blemish of gimmicky and mannerism which characterize the English used by Anand and Rajarao. Mulkraj Anand's language and style, though vigorous and clear, is racy and overloaded with Punjabiism, while Ake's narrative shows up gentle Tamil overtones with semblance of realism. In sharp contrast with the gentleness of Narayan's language, Anand's literal translations of Punjabi swear words and phrases such as rape mother, rape daughter, the illegally begotten, eater of master's salt, etc., and the direct presentation of Hindi words such as thappad, Angrez log, create a jarring effect of realism and spoil the naturalness and spontaneity of expression. Rajarao tries to adopt English style to the movement of Sanskrit sentence. His style is rich with images and metaphors, allusions and quotations, not only from Sanskrit classics, but also from French. Having lived in France for more than 10 years, between 1928 and 39, he dabbed a tinge of French to his English, as compared to Anand and Rajarao, whose styles are conspicuous by artifice and mannerisms. Narayan uses a style which is simple, easy, vigorous, pointed, and natural. It is conspicuous by unobtrusive quality. William Walsh attributes a strange degree of transcendence to his prose. Mahood finds a type of luminosity in his prose and remarks that Narayan's work is as pellucid as glass. The Times Literary Supplement alludes to integral cohesiveness in Narayan's style. His humor is woven into the texture of his prose. It never erupts as a detachable epigram or a joke. Narayan uses Tamil idiom in English speech in a natural and unaffected manner. His is not the public school English which other novelists like Manohar Malgonkar, Kamala Markandeya, and Santa Ramarao use in their novels. In order to impart naturalness and simplicity, Narayan uses popular Tamil and Sanskrit words freely in his novels. For example, Asura, Pandit, Purana, Rasam, and Rishi. Narayan's language belongs to the everyday world of ordinary people. It's the language in which the average Malgudians dream, love, and indulge in their small wars, laugh, and lament. His style gives the distinct impression of a small South Indian community confined to particular temporal and spatial setting. Their manners, musings, conversations and thoughts, and instinctive reactions to things. In spite of raciness and simplicity, Narayan's style is rich in evocativeness and suggestiveness. In The Bachelor of Arts, Chandran's affair with Malati has been imaginatively conceived and skillfully executed, revealing the author's narrative art with a notable economy of detail and suavity of tone. In The English Teacher, the simplicity of style acquires quality of picturesqueness and the lyrical eloquence in the scenes which describe Krishna's order for his wife. The last scene is redolent with fragrance of jasmine and of love consummation on a transcendental plane. Narayan has lavished his best gifts as a writer in his description of wedded life of Krishna and Susila, which underscores pure Indianism like the marital love between Rajam and Venkatapaya in The Violin by Chaso. Narayan's style assumes lyrical quality in the description of Rosie in The Guide. She was not very glamorous, but when she indicated the lotus with her fingers, you could almost hear the ripple around it. Narayan's style retains the characteristic reticence, even in the use of figures of speech. In The English Teacher, he writes, "She appeared at the kitchen doorway like a vision, clad in indigo sari." In The Financial Expert, he writes, "Money was like a gem which radiated the light all around, and Sriram went toward it like a charmed moth." In The Waiting for Mahatma, he writes, "She has the lightning-like motion of a dancer." Narayan's style through the eyes of critics. V.S. Naipaul in one of his columns mentioned that Narayan did not involve himself or his writings with the politics or problems of India. According to Whit Mason, the New Yorker, although Narayan's writings seem simple and display a lack of interest in politics, he delivers his narrative with an artful technique when dealing with such subjects and does not entirely avoid them. According to Shashi Tharoor, Narayan's subjects are similar to those of Jane Austen, as they both deal with very small section of the society. However, he adds that while Austen's prose was able to take those subjects beyond ordinariness, Narayan's wasn't. When the Michigan State University Press started publishing his books, Narayan visited America and lectured at various universities, including the Michigan State University and the University of California, Berkeley. At this time, John Updike compared Narayan to Charles Dickens. In a review of Narayan's works published in the New Yorker, Updike called him a writer of vanishing breed, one who identifies completely with his subjects and with a belief in the significance of humanity.